want to buy into it all too much, but looking at you gives me such a rush. My mama thinks that you don't love for long,
I
but
got your
just
girl,
can't.
Zikhona Qgamana.
Z.
Guys,
Z.
let me just tell you that I needed a degree just to get that surname right. It's too much. But yeah, welcome. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
I know you came all the way from that other country known as Johannesburg, all the way here to CPT.
You live too far, man. Hey,
but yeah, thanks very much.
Yeah.
So, the first question I want to ask you, just with regards to your career, if people don't know, she's an amazing singer. She was on The Voice, so I'm going to ask about that, your journey on The Voice. How was that? And apart from that, how was your career before, and how was it after The Voice? Yeah.
I actually don't think I had a career before The Voice because
Okay.
I was in school. I was a full-time student, and I actually entered The Voice while I was writing my final exams for my honors.
Okay.
So, funny story about this audition is that I didn't even tell my parents I was going. They were driving to PE, and I was like, yo, can I catch a ride? I just need, to go quickly somewhere. And then next thing, I'm queuing for...
within.
Yeah. But, yeah, they were happy for me. So I got in to the top 100. That's where you start.
Okay.
And then after that, you get to audition for the judges. And that meant that I had to travel to Johannesburg.
Okay.
So that time I was at home in Grahamstown.
Yeah.
So that's in Eastern Cape. And luckily, everything just happened so quickly that year, because I even got a job offer that year.
That's awesome.
And so it was okay, now is this the part where I decide between
work, singing,
and knowing me, I'm such a risk taker. Sometimes I'm even shocked at the things I decide, and I was like, I'm gonna take both of them, and I'm not gonna let one opportunity slip.
Okay.
So I traveled to Johannesburg. I moved to Johannesburg actually, and so I had to audition. And initially I wanted to sing for Lyra.
Yeah.
I know that it was 4 coaches, but I was like, girl, I'm here
Lyra,
for you. You better
yours.
turn for me. And it didn't happen like that. Actually,
Yeah.
I got into Khan's team. I was so skeptical because he's a rock star, and I don't sing
not
that
on that
type of
tangent.
music. And that's when I actually learned a lot about singing. I have so much respect for the craft, because what I did was I was just recording 30-second videos in my room, maybe at Res, post them on IG and think, I've got this. But it took a lot of discipline. It was so much hard work that by the time you get to sing the song, you're so tired of it, because you get to practice it probably 10 times every day. But it was a fun journey. I met a lot of industry professionals. I learned how to even perform on stage.
Yes, girl.
Yeah, hey, singer, songwriter, performer, what?
Hello.
Hey.
Cover.
Yeah. So I made it to the top 16 of the series. Sure, that moment when I found out, I had to leave the competition. Because when I entered, it's always in the beginning I'm doing this for fun, because I love singing. Let me just try it out and see how far I make it. But it's every time you progress to each round, it gets more personal. And
I get what you say.
you're hungry, to win the competition, because music means so much to me. Honestly, that's where I am my true self when I'm on stage and when I'm singing. I'm not much of a talker. I know sometimes people say I look bubbly and cheerful, but I'm not so open. But when I'm on stage, that's when you see the real Z come out.
I see what you're saying.
And so after that, I was like, let me, use this momentum. And I started connecting with people that I knew were part of agencies. And I got a gig at Mainland Casino.
Okay, cool.
That was running for about a period of 2 months.
All right,
and
that's
that's when I learned you can make cha-ching out of this, hey?
No.
Hello, not a bad idea after all.
Yeah.
And but obviously it was different because now I wasn't really singing to compete. I was actually, doing it because I loved it. I remembered why I started, and I didn't want to let the bad news, so to say,
basically hold you back.
And break my spirit. And I continued. And a few weeks later, I got in contact. Actually, I was contacted by an executive of a label.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yo, girl, we saw you on The Voice. We think you're awesome.
Yeah.
We would like to meet up with you. And obviously, I was skeptical because I've heard stories. Don't ever get signed. It's a bad idea.
Yeah.
And I think because I was excited, and I think I took advantage of the fact that I was from a show.
Yes.
I was fresh off the show, that had like lots of viewership, and let me grab this opportunity while people can still remember me. Because it's one thing.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because it's one thing being on TV and then you're like silent for months. Oh yeah, there was once a Zikhona who said,
You wanted to stay relevant, basically.
Yeah, wanted to stay relevant,
Yeah.
and so I signed the deal, and I was now a signed artist. Yeah, what do they call it now? Yeah,
cool.
signed artist.
So we'll come back to that point, right? So obviously you've been singing for a few years now. I want to know where this journey started. Like, did you know that this is always something that you wanted to do? And from how young were you? Were you like, I'm gonna be a singer. I'm gonna do this thing,
I can't exactly remember at what age, but I was pretty young.
Okay.
I think even since before primary, because foundation phase, you get casted in these school plays. And you kind of like have to do it, but for me, it was the most exciting time of the year. Get to dress up, get to play this character, and then I noticed I'm always given the singing
role
singing roles. Yeah. Like, why is it always me? Like, I want to be with my friends. I also want to be a frog. You know what I mean? Like those type of things. And then, but I didn't realize it then. And until I got to, I think maybe grade 5, grade 4-ish. And then I started signing up for extramural activities. I joined the choir, and I was made captain of the choir. That's and awesome. Then it just from then it just
becoming a part of who you
were. It started. I was even at school I was like, oh, Zikhona, the one who can sing, because there was 500 other Zikhonas, because it's Eastern Cape, we literally share the same name, you guys. And I was like, I actually want to do this. And at the time, I was doing hectic subjects. I was doing bio, I was doing science, I was doing mathematics. And I'm like, I'm stuck. I've always been stuck between these two worlds. Yeah. But I always knew music was my first love.
Thing.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
And then I know, obviously, what people don't necessarily know, she's actually an educated lady.
Oh.
She's got a BSc in computer sciences. And I know that obviously wasn't your first choice. I know obviously you wanted to study music as well. So what made you go into the computer sciences? And basically.
I won't even lie. Just to sustain myself financially, I had to think of a path that is not going to give me issues, and in terms of finding a job as well. I don't come from a very rich family or wealthy background. There were things that I had to consider, because it was once a conversation that I brought up. I told my parents I would like to say, to study music. And
which one is this one now? What's that?
They was like, what is that even?
Is it a thing?
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
So we must pay for you to study for something that you can do naturally. Yeah. And so I decided to park it, and I did computer science. Luckily, I passed, because even varsity is a different situation.
I guess I'm not gonna lie. We started at the same varsity.
Yeah,
we
flames. I was this big. Remember, I was this tiny. Yeah, varsity child. I say, and
Okay. All right, cool. And then the next question I want to ask. Obviously, you mentioned that you got signed to a record label. I know that things didn't necessarily go the way that you would have liked it to go. So, from that, what have you learned from that experience? What have you learned?
Firstly, being signed, it does not determine, I don't know, you being a megastar. Yeah. It doesn't really give you that guarantee that you're gonna flourish immediately. Yeah. Because now you're recording music and you're selling it. There are other things in the background. I'm not going to go too much into detail about it, but music is business. That's what I learned. I went in there, full on because of how passionate I was. I didn't take the time to consider the fine prints, so to say.
Hey, I would tease and seize.
I was just there, you know what?
Let's do this.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
And I got to a point where I felt like I was not being myself. As much as I knew that, I love singing, and I've been, complimented and been told that I can do it. Like, okay, I can pretty much do it, like any kind of song, but does it really speak to me? Is it really? Because for me, I take music so personally. Writing a song, first of all, is pouring your heart out, and it's making yourself vulnerable to the world, because musicians, I think most musicians are most authentic and most true to themselves when they put out a song, or when they tell their story through music.
That's true.
So I got to a place where I was not comfortable putting out the music that I was putting out, and there was some internal conflicts with the people I was working with and the people who were managing me, and so my contract was terminated.
Cool.
And that I had to swallow hard there. That was a very hard pill to swallow. But you know what? It's an opportunity to start from scratch, to do it for me, to do it for the right reasons. No matter how long it takes, because I can't sit there and wait for money to come into my bank account if I'm not.
If you're not working.
If you're not putting in the hours.
The effort, the work.
Yeah.
All right, cool. The next question I want to ask you as well is, okay, let's leave it there. Actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously you've overcome the challenge that you went through. You mentioned your upbringing as well. I want you to kind of let me know, what would you tell someone out there that is probably wants to be a singer, whatever they want to be? What would you tell them to keep on doing? And if you're in it and you feel like quitting, what advice would you give to that kind of a person?
I think it actually is more, this is a broader question as well. It's not specifically to music,
singing or anything,
but I remember I once got a direct message on my Instagram from someone who saw me on The Voice, and she asked me, oh my gosh, like, was it difficult? That was the first question she asked me. She was already scared to fail before she even tried.
Cool.
So just go there. Like, you don't know, what you're going to face, and you don't know how far you're going to go, because I think that's what also stopped me for a while. I had a lot of self-doubt because I wanted to compare myself to
other people,
etc. And for example, even in audition queues, there'd be someone literally singing next to me, and I'm feeling threatened. I'm like, okay, let me go home. And you don't know what they're looking for. Just be yourself, and if you get rejected, rejection is an opportunity to try again, learn from it, and flourish. It will happen. Don't compare yourself to someone else's journey, because their chapter 2, could be your, I don't know what, a different chapter. And just remember why you started. I think that's the most important thing.
Cool. Thanks very much.
Thanks you
for your time. Don't worry, I'll put
be
some
back.
Gas, gas money for the trap. But thanks very much. As you guys heard it, basically, you just need to start at the end of the day, because you'll never know what's on the other side of your obedience. But the only way you can see what's on the other side of your obedience is by being obedient. So what I'm going to say to you guys is, keep on pushing, keep on believing, keep on dreaming, never stop dreaming. You know what I'm saying? And the moment you stop dreaming is the moment that you'll stop achieving things in life. Just as she said, start. Because the only way you'll get to the finish line is by starting.
Staying over here is where I want to be. These melodies in me, saying this is who I am.
It's gonna be tough, guys.
When you look into my eyes, I'm not so jiggy, You're